Hi everyone! In this video we're going to talk about perfect squares and square roots, rational numbers. Alright, objectives. I can identify square numbers and I can evaluate square roots of perfect squares. So let's start by defining what a square number is. A square number is the result of multiplying an integer by itself. So like 5 times 5. 2 times 2, 3 times 3. For example, 4 times 4 equals 16, so 16 is a square number. So square numbers make squares, so if there's like 4 on one side and 4 on the other side of the square, then the whole square is 16 units squared. So that's why they're called square numbers, because they always make squares, because the length and the width are the same. Another example of a square number is 36, since 6 times 6 equals 36. Alright, so we can show squared numbers using an exponent of 2. So this is an exponent. It's a little number that goes to the top of a bigger number. This says 4 squared equals 16. That's because 4 times 4 equals 16. So this little 2 tells us to multiply twice. So for example, 6 squared would be 6 times 6. And later on we'll learn like other exponents. So you can have like 4 to the third power, which is 4 times 4 times 4. So this just tells you how many times to multiply. So we use an exponent of 2 to represent a square number. So here's all the squares from 0 to 10. 1 squared is 1 times 1, which equals 1. 2 squared is 2 times 2, which equals 4. 3 squared is 3 times 3, which equals 9. 4 squared is 4 times 4, which equals 16. 5 squared is 5 times 5, which equals 25. 6 squared is 6 times 6, which equals 36. 7 squared is 7 times 7, which equals 49. 8 squared is 64, 8 times 8, which is 64. 9 squared is 81, which is 9 times 9, and 10 squared is 10 times 10, which equals 100. So these numbers, 81, 100, 64, 49, 36, 25, 16, 9, 4, and 1 are square numbers. So the opposite of a square number, or squaring a number, is taking the square root. So a square root goes the other way. So 3 squared is 9, and the square root of 9 is 3. A square root of a number is a value that can be multiplied by itself to give the original number. So for example, the square root of 9 is 3, because when 3 is multiplied by itself, we get 9. To find the square root of a number, ask yourself, what can I multiply by itself to get this number? Let's see. Oh, sorry, we're going to use the square root symbol. So this is the square root symbol. It's like a little V check type thing. So we would say, so this would be read as the square root of 9 equals 3. This is true because 3 times 3 equals 9. This symbol is called a radical, and it makes math look important and cool. So we're going to look at perfect squares, and perfect squares are values that have a whole number square root. Perfect square roots are rational numbers because they simplify to integers. So like the square root of 36 equals 6. So it's rational because it comes out to an integer. Alright, so our perfect square roots. Square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 4, what number times itself equals 4? 2. The square root of 9, what number times itself equals 9? 3. The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 25 is 5, because 5 times 5 is 25. The square root of 36 is 6. The square root of 49 is 7. The square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 81 is 9. And the square root of 100 is 10, because 10 times 10 equals 100. And notice that these numbers, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100 are all our perfect squares. And that is actually it for now. You don't have to look at this.